telling you. It's a fucking conspiracy, man. We're not meant
We're
to do
doing
this
it.
episode.
We're fucking doing it. This is the
We're
cold
not
open, everybody. They're out to get us. They're listening. They're watching our cookies.
This is
They're
the
eating
episode
them.
they don't want you to
They're
hear.
eating our Chips Ahoys. They're getting them from our hard drives. We're doing it. We're getting it out. If we have 2 gunshots to the back of the head, no, we didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Now you know why.
Epstein's papers got leaked, and now this. Coincidence? I think not.
Let's do it, dog.
All right. Welcome, everybody, or should I say brothers and sisters, because, you know, we're all family here, right? This is the podcast that's
God damn it.
all about family.
Why do you struggle like that?
This is the Devil's Work podcast, the podcast where we watch all the horrible movies from around the globe so that you don't have to. If you want to, you can.
It's the podcast where family comes first.
That's right. And second.
That's disgusting.
Today's movie is not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that much. We're
I
doing
hate this.
the 2001 Takashi Miike vehicle, Visitor Q.
Vehicle. So much respect on this movie, dude.
This movie is the leg day of
Someone
movies.
has to respect it. The leg day.
Yeah, this is the leg day of movies. It's like, I got to get it out of the way, but I'm not going to enjoy any part of it.
So before we go too much farther, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Skeptik, and I'm joined by Sideshow and Austin.
Yo.
Hello.
In that order.
Reluctantly out here.
So
Yeah.
you know who to blame for which tangents.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
God, this is an interesting movie because honestly, like Austin was kind of saying a second ago, and before I tangented, I wanted to do the intro. But yeah, when people are like talking about like, oh, you know, this movie is so obscure, this movie is so obscure, I used to always be like, yeah, but have you fucking seen Visitor Q?
Yeah, literally like, oh yeah?
Yeah. This is the I knew them before they got big of horror movies.
Oh, you want to play that fucking game, eh?
Yeah, straight up. Let's see who can ruin whose Sunday.
Right. Absolutely.
And I love that this one, okay, for those who probably heard last week, but I have no idea how this is going to go up in the timeline. That's the thing, too. When this gets uploaded, I don't know what number it's actually going to end up.
I have an idea, and I thought about this beforehand. So we do, I think it's 47 we're on right now. Do like 47 and then just do parentheses 15.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
No, we talked about it. The joke was always going to be that we were going to drop
true,
this at
but it'll
15
fuck
whenever
up
we
the
do
algorithm, and the algorithm is our god now, so we have to obey Skynet and
Fuck
give it what
we
it
do
wants.
it live. We do it live. Anyway, where I was going with that was that I don't know where this is going to pop up in the timeline, but we did this episode already prior. This happened.
This was our
last
lost
year.
episode.
This was a lost episode. We actually did perform. So for anyone who was listening prior to this and may have not noticed it, but if you go back and look in the archives of the timeline of our show, all the episodes, it jumps from 14 to 15 or 14 to 16 because of the fact that this was lost and it was always meant to be the 15th episode. So, you know, here it is in all of its disgusting glory.
Disgusting and glorious indeed.
And well, this is like what, already the third Miike movie that we've already covered. Like I think, at least
I want to say
third one. I think at least, yeah.
Yeah, I mean we just did Imprint. I'm realizing
Just
I'm going.
Imprint.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I
Audition.
buffered with Videodrome, so that's good.
Yeah,
I at least buffered, so it's not back to back Miike. I like other filmmakers.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, but I mean, even then though, like we love Miike in
And
this
he
house.
has,
Like,
he
yeah,
has like,
God.
what does he have, like
These-
200 movies
Yeah,
like in his filmography?
yes.
Like, I don't
So
blame
much.
either of you. Like, Jesus Christ. He's
He
like
has-
a 1 for me, 20 for them.
He has made so many movies of so many different genres. He made a Zebra Man movie, which is like a kid's manga for his kid. He wanted his kids to be able to watch one of his movies.
Watch one of his movies. Yeah, that's right. That's so cute.
I don't know if his kid like specifically liked Zebra Man, but it sounds like it from like the way it was,
I'm sure
reported.
He handled that property with care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a man, but he's also a zebra.
Yeah, to Austin's point, this is definitely the one for him. I don't know who the fuck else this would be for, man.
I think this is like the one for I don't.
Some kind of man zebra.
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. This movie is like the Nietzsche. This is like the Nietzsche of like film, dude. Like I watched this and I just didn't care about anything. I'm like, life is pointless. I'm going to die. I'm going to grow out a mustache that's longer than my face, and I'm going to like sit in the corner and drink scotch until I'm like dead. Like I wanted. It's not a day killer. It's like a soul killer.
Yeah, for sure.
But then at the same time, like the second time watching it, I submitted, myself to being through the pain of watching it twice. It did have like a weirdly wholesome. I kept seeing this weirdly wholesome, like people, talking about the movie online, and like I kind of saw it the second time, and I'll get into that. It does have a weirdly happy feel to it at the end. Like it's a good ending.
I'm curious to fucking hear that one because that's fucked up.
It's like we were saying, if you sift through the shit and you find that like gold bar in the sewage, hanging down there, there's this like level of like. I don't know. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids almost. It's like, oh, they got tiny and they fought a cockroach, and then the one guy died, but he ate a banana and he was okay because of the potassium. But at the end, they were a family and they came together.
But did any of them fucking corpse in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? I don't remember that.
This means Visitor Q is a Christmas movie because it has the Christmas miracle at the end.
It's fucking disgusting.
We're going to continue.
What a Christmas miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. Gross. It's also a Valentine's movie.
For those listening, and probably, I don't know how many people are going to actually watch this one because it's kind of really hard to, like stomach it. It's not hard to find, surprisingly enough, weirdly enough. But yeah, it's a fucking eyeful, man. This shit is rough. And we're gonna hit all the trigger warnings.
Yeah, this is a hard one to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, I should have. That's what I really should have done. Can I do
I have kind of like a trigger warning type situation.
Oh yeah, save me from my own unpreparedness.
Do you know like the aristocrats joke?
Yeah, wow.
That's the trigger warning.
That's
remind me because I don't know.
It's literally just Google.
Go ahead and explain, Austin.
Wait, what the fuck? No,
it's a joke where
no, we're here now. Fuck you.
I know what it is, but I do a lot of talking, and I want Austin to. I want Austin to explain himself.
I want to take the credit for this, but I can't because I saw someone pitch this online as like the synopsis for this movie is like, just Google the aristocrats joke. They're like, this is the movie. Because someone was asking on Reddit, they're like, what is Visitor Q, Push his glasses up.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot about Takashi Miike, and I really liked Ichi the Killer in Audition. What is Visitor Q? And then like, newspaper man from the 1920s gets a comment from another guy, and he was just like, just Google the aristocrats joke. And then I that was the first time Reddit made me laugh and didn't make me sigh. And it's essentially, I believe from my knowledge, it's like this family goes in either one by one or all together, and they're pitching to a producer this idea for a show. And it's different for every person, and it's just improv, but in comedy form. Yeah. And it's just slowly like as gross as you can get with this family. Like the son starts fucking the mom, and then the dad starts coming on the daughter's back, and then the grandma starts shitting on the baby, and you just make it up as you go, and it just gets as gross and gross as possible. And then the producer says something along the lines of like, I love it, you're good. So and that's this movie.
Disgusting. I love it.
Yeah, if you want.
The punchline is like, I love it. This is amazing. This is so incredible. What do you call it? And they say, we call it the aristocrats.
Yeah. That's amazing.
but it's like kind of like Austin said, you know, it's like a 15-20 minute joke when it's executed correctly.
Yes.
Okay.
Like
it's like who's
Bob
on
Saget
first?
has a good one on YouTube. I'm pretty sure if you
Okay.
YouTube Bob Saget aristocrats.
Yeah.
Word, I gotta check that one out. That's amazing.
Think like Harmony Korine doing Who's on First. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
I love that.
Who's
Like,
on
if-
first, and where did they contract a life-changing STD?
Literally. It's disgusting. So okay, well, yeah, give him the synopsis then. We're gonna go on about it because do you guys? I don't see a lot of people watching this movie.
Yeah,
I
I will say for legitimate trigger warnings, there's violence against women, there's domestic violence in all capacities. There's
every
incest, there's rape, there's murder, there's knife violence.
Necrophilia.
Necrophilia. A little bit of shit play in there. Like it truly is we're joking around, but like
it's literally every trigger
it's like the
warning.
most offensive movie possible.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny off the back of Imprint being the last time we talked about Miike.
Yeah,
I don't like, you know,
More
I don't
offensive
like,
than the abortion movie?
yeah, I don't like, you know, doing the whole like trigger warnings, but like this is the one movie where like if you have a trigger to any capacity, it's in here.
Oh yeah, it's gonna find it.
Like I don't want to do the whole like we don't need to do trigger warnings, but like it's everything.
No. This is
Like
literally
it's
all
here.
of them.
if you got it, it's like it.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's the thing too. Like it's kind of a classic like display of what I love about Miike's film making in general, just because it's the same thing that I love about Gaspar Noé. Like he forces you to sit with uncomfortable things and like really just fucking stew in it. You know what I mean? Like just like really, really take a hard look at why you're watching these things. You know?
Did Ichi come out before this or after?
Do
you know? This was
would have been
2001.
after. This would have been after Ichi, I want to say, because Ichi was 2001.
Okay, so like this movie felt like, to break it down very simply, like he made Audition in like 99, I want to say, and then, you know, maybe Ichi, and then in 2001 he makes this, and then it's pretty much, this movie is the equivalent of like the SpongeBob scene where he's in a superhero uniform and he's like, hey, you want to see me run really fast? And then he like pauses and he's like, you want to see me do it again? And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Visitor
chill.
Q predates Ichi.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Visitor
that's right.
Q came out March 17th, 2001. Ichi came out September 14th, 2001.
That's fucking crazy, in the same year?
Yeah, he also made.
He did it again. He asked if you wanted to see him do it again.
Have you all seen? What's it called? It's like the Happy Family of the Yaka, the Happiness of the Katakoris. That came out the same year too.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. He was dropping like 4 or 5 movies a year for quite a while.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
Quite a while. Let me.
And they're vastly fucking different films. Like each and every single one of them are just insanely different.
Interesting.
This could not be any more different from Imprint.
Visitor Q was produced in 1999.
Oh, interesting. So it probably got greenlit, took some time to film it, and then they just finally.
I could see why it took a minute to get somebody to distribute this film.
Yeah, he literally did 5 movies in 2001: Family, Ichi the Killer, Agitator, The Happiness of the Katakuris, and then Visitor Q released that year. Like
fucking hell.
You know what I mean? It was made in 99 but released that year, and then 99. He did Ley Lines, Audition, Dead or Alive, Salaryman Kintaro, and he filmed Visitor Q.
Still need to see Dead or Alive.
Nuts,
2000,
dude.
City of Lost Souls.
We're doing Dead or Alive at some point.
I'm so
The
excited.
Guys
I
from
haven't seen that yet.
Paradise, Dead or Alive 2. So yeah, he was doing like 4 or 5 movies a year during the 2000s.
Nuts, dude.
5 in
Can I ask a
2002.
Goddamn machine.
Can I ask a
3 in
stupid question?
2003. No, 5 in 2003.
Goddamn.
What's up?
I have a dumb question. So I knew about Takashi Miike having this movie Dead or Alive. I hear about it a lot. Is this a like Am I thinking of the video game Dead or Alive with the
Yeah, you're
bikini
thinking
ladies?
about the video
Yeah,
game.
you are.
Is
It's
this-
not related
is-
at all.
Okay,
No,
okay.
no, yeah,
I always
yeah,
thought
yeah.
he
That's what I
made.
thought too when I
was
first
like,
saw it,
how
yeah.
the fuck did he make this? Are they like spiking like phantasm balls at each other? I was like,
Which is a
Jesus
great-
Christ.
I think that's a better movie in your head.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, but
he's
I
a
love it,
madman.
Mike's fucking psychotic. I love him so much for that. And again, like even watching this movie to be as offensive as it is, it's still weirdly enough is like the edgy kid version of fun.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
this
wholesome.
was a very edgy movie for me
Yeah.
when I first watched it, and then now I'm
For
like,
sure,
now I'm
yeah.
like, okay, there's actually things going on. But when I first saw it, I was like, this is just made to like fuck up anybody who watches it.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is the visual assault. Yeah.
This is the post Kill Bill Quentin Tarantino, live news broadcast interview where he goes, quote, "Because it's so much fun, Pam." Like, this is that in a movie. It's like, why? And then like you just get that as a response.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, okay. All right, breast
Yes.
milk. Cool. Breast milk. Got it.
Lot
So
of
much breast milk.
Yeah, all the breast milk.
I will make an argument later, and I'm sorry I'm going to have to do it. The first time I was just upset. Like, I watched it with Joey the first time, and I was just...
I got to watch his reactions live.
I have
loved
my
it.
official note. We watched it over Zoom. I have my official notes from that. I wrote... I gave it a half a star out of 6, and then I said, "Why am I watching this fucking movie?" And then we just did the Videodrome episode, and then I just said, "I can hear you disintegrating." That was my only 2 notes. I have plenty more now, but there is a silver. I won't even say silver lining. There's a copper lining of hope in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An
There is like a
electrified
weird
third rail.
There's a
of
weird
hope.
sense of like optimism at the end of this movie, and I want to get to it. I'm excited.
Interesting.
Oh man.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I know. I think this is gonna be a really interesting one, just conversely, because it's just gonna be like we have been doing so much like horrid shit on this show, and again, this this is the Devil's Work podcast. Like, obviously, you know what the fuck you came here for, but like this one is going even darker into some other territories that we haven't really dipped into yet. Like, we've gotten there, we've touched on a lot of like different subjects for sure, but like not all of them at once.
Yeah. It's
It rhymes with snus.
all right.
Yeah,
so
but let them know
Yes.
what I mean. Okay, we have the trigger warnings. Did we get the synopsis yet?
was that your synopsis, Austin?
Was that your
Yeah,
synopsis?
I was gonna use the aristocrat thing that I read for the synopsis, but then you said trigger warnings, and I'm like, this fits so much better. So if you want to hit
Okay.
him with
Yeah,
a
yeah.
synopsis,
So-
That's fine. Yeah.
So the synopsis, let me see. So yeah, this is the quickest and most direct one, I would say. A troubled and perverted family find their lives intruded upon by a mysterious stranger who seems to help find a balance in their disturbing natures.
Pretty much.
that's- Yeah. Quick, clean, to the point, man. That's. I don't know how
Yeah.
they make it sound like kind of neat.
Yeah, like-
as a
like-
movie, it's just so
That
so
was
classy.
A good bow on it, honestly. That
Yeah,
makes
for sure.
I have to say, for a good synopsis, if you want to watch this movie, I wanted to bring it up. I have plenty of notes on it. If you want to watch this movie, I want to say too during the synopsis, this movie is, I don't even want to say loosely, it's almost like a direct lift from a movie from 1968. What was his last
Oh, yeah.
name? I'm sorry. The director?
Pasolini.
Pasolini, the guy that made Salo, he has a movie called Teorema. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have the phonetics written down, so I would. Let's hope to God I am. And it's pretty much the same concept. Only instead of like this perversion, how we focus on like family dynamics and these gender roles that we do in Visitor Q, and this perverse nature of this family, it's very politically heavy, as Pasolini is. Being from Italy in a fascist era and being heavily communist.
Yeah, he got killed for those beliefs.
Yeah, it's pretty much the top comment. I found it on this Teorama. The only comment on it was in Italian, and I Google translated it, and it says, "No wonder he was killed for this movie. It's shit."
Yeah. Dude, that's fucked.
That's no, but it's the same concept, and I was telling them earlier, and they told me to bring it up here. If you want to watch this movie but not watch this movie, Teorama feels like, if you're looking at Teorama as an image, as a photo, Visitor Q is the negative of Teorama. It is everything wrong, where Teorama is very perverse.
It's shining a light on all those dark bits.
Like the Vatican, from what I was listening to, the Vatican actually sent charges out for what's it called? Not blasphemy, but indecency. He was arrested and then charges were dropped.
They tried to throw
for Teorama.
They tried to throw a case in that, but that's crazy.
Yeah, and every way that Visitor Q happens, just kind of flip it. Like where we get this character that might be kind of devilish, just make him more angelic. But I mean, it's kind of up to interpretation. And then where it talks about perversion, it more talks about like the political and socioeconomic state of like Italy at the time, and it's very like fuck the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, ACAB, burn them all, take what's yours. And at the same time, I was bored as shit as much as I loved it, and I was telling you that earlier. It very much feels like a Terrence Malick movie, as Spike Lee political heavy it is. And I was saying Visitor Q kind of feels like if Harmony Korine were to make remake a Terrence Malick movie, like if he 2013 Old Boy'd a Terrence Malick movie. And I just wanted to touch on that because I think it's very much worth checking out. I watched Visitor Q, like we said, with Joey first with no context. Absolutely fucking hated it. Like, I was miserable. It's an hour and 30 minutes and it felt like 6 hours. Watched this Teorama movie from 1968 and it was still boring as shit. But actually, like, trying to understand it and how it was presented and, like, taking what I did take from it, the little I took from it, going back to Visitor Q, it was actually weirdly entertaining. And I didn't want to say that going into this. I have to say, I was dreading this episode. I was dreading this episode. I'm going to shut up after this, but I was dreading this episode. And like in the 20 minutes we've been doing this episode so far, I am so excited for this conversation. I did not think I'd be this jazzed to watch a movie that made me so miserable. Like, holy shit. So happy. But I digress. Sure. Carry on.
Yeah. Let's get into it, man. This is gonna be a wild fucking ride, and this will easily hit like the 3 hour mark if we're not careful.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So let's get into this. Let's bust off the top of our quart of milk and get to drinking.
Let's bust the nut off this.
I hate your transitions, but I respect them.
That's all I ask. Okay, so the film starts off with a question, just text on screen. Have you ever done it with your dad? Right to the point. You know what I mean? Yes, relatable. Relatable. The viewer then sees through the lens of a camcorder. What we discover is through the lens of a camcorder. Miki Yamazaki, a young sex worker, trying to persuade an older man into having sex with her. He's videotaping her and says that it's for a documentary that he's preparing on Japanese youths and them doing debaucherous things and becoming sex workers and doing drugs. Like he's kind of trying to report on the counterculture. That's why he's like talking to this girl.
He's like trying to be Geraldo.
Exactly. He's like, this is the scoop that'll get it. If I could interview these young sex workers, then it'll be like relevant and cool. Mm-hmm. And so she eventually talks him into them having sex for 50,000 yen, which is at this point in time, that's like $300 American. About like actually it'd be a little bit more because about like 14,000 yen is $100 right now. Again, yes, I do know that off the top of my head. And and when they have sex, the man ejaculates very quickly, like within less than a minute.
2 pump chump.
And it was bad.
And the girl informs him that because of the disappointment, it will now be 100,000 yen. And at the tail end of this scene, she reveals that this man is her father.
Yeah. Before it was even finished, too, Austin was like, "Oh no, that's her dad."
No,
Even without the
listen,
question at the
hold on.
beginning.
Yeah. You start a movie with a black screen with text saying, "Have you ever done it with your dad?" And I'm like, "What? Go fishing?" yeah. I fucking casted a few lines with my dad. You know,
You're like, me and my pa go ice fishing all the time.
Yeah, you know, before my dad went out for a pack of cigarettes and a gallon of milk when I was 8 years old, I totally like casted a few lines with him, but I never fucked my dad. So I'm going into this and I'm like, maybe she's not gonna fuck her dad, and then I see a grown man in a what looks like, you know, teenage woman.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
in this weird room with like mirrored walls everywhere, and it's
just a sex room.
I assumed it was like a love hotel.
Yeah, it's not her
room.
home. It's either a love hotel or I think it's where she operates out of, which could still be a love hotel, but because I think we see her there again later in the movie. And then the father realizes, because he's holding the camcorder, and then when they decide to have sex, he sets it down, and at the end he realizes he filmed himself having sex with his daughter. So right off the top, probably most of our listeners are out of here. So we don't even have to talk about the movie anymore.
Listen, I'm gonna be the bad guy here. I'm gonna be the bad guy here. I'm gonna be the bad guy for most of this episode.
No.
I'm not gonna defend the fact that he fucked his daughter because he fucked his daughter.
Thank God.
Being the only white guy here from a flyover state, I don't want to defend the fact that he fucked his daughter because it's a stereotype that I'm not gonna play into. But we've all been, feeling ourselves. We've all been in the heat of the moment and done some shit we regretted when our Ooga Booga brain activated. And
that post-nut clarity sets in.
That post-nut clarity hits hard. And I mean, I've never fucked my daughter or any family member for that matter, but I've done some nasty shit, and immediately upon completing myself.
Everyone's experienced post-nut clarity.
Yeah,
but not everyone has made the trademark Miike cum shot sound effect.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I wrote that down too. The sound effect. What did I write? Dude was shooting ropes, dude. He was like web slinging like Spider-Man. That was like literally like Sam Raimi, like fucking shoot. Like when he shoots web. Yeah, dude, he was throwing rope, my guy. And like you can laugh at him for being quick, but
damn it, dude.
He's leaving goop behind. He's leaving DNA at the crime scene.
He's leaving Gwyneth Paltrow's beautiful,
goop,
beautiful vagina scented candles behind.
It's disgusting.
One of my notes here was this guy wouldn't last 5 minutes at hedonism. The ripping and the tearing.
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious, dude. Absurd. This is disgusting. Also, it doesn't get any better than this.
No,
this
happens,
literally.
This happens later in the movie too, though. But in this scene in specifics, with it being a Japanese movie and with it being it's essentially just porn. I wouldn't even argue that this isn't porn. The sex scenes in this movie are everything but penetration, I'd argue, and
literally
with how we were talking, with it being mainly handheld and with him, kind of fucking around with that modern age of handheld cameras and it giving that extra flair of like, this feels very real and this feels very like snuffy. This scene in particular, I don't know why, but Japanese porn, the fact that they blur the dick out, you see less, but it feels like more, and it's upsetting because like the moment they blurred his dick, when you watch what you watch online and you're like, this is porn, this is sex.
When
I'm watching this.
We watch.
But then, listen, we're not getting into that. We're not getting into specifics. But something about it being blurred,
this is from an academic
dirty
standpoint.
And wrong. This is from a Jordan Peterson standpoint. You have to understand that I watch lobster porn.
Why should it be my responsibility to pleasure a woman?
No, the demons of the world. Stop wearing blush. Okay, continue.
I'm the top G.
This is not. It's not getting
this
any
is devolving so fast
from either the movie or us. Like literally all of this.
I told you they're gone. We could talk about whatever.
This movie makes me feel like I have psychosis, like in the nth degree.
I saw someone earlier. I saw this like Facebook argument. You know, sometimes you're just like, you see a thread and then you click on it and then you see someone who agrees with you just like dunking on someone you disagree with, and you're just liking. You're like, I'm not really going to get involved. They're already doing everything.
Yeah,
you know,
sure. I'm just in the corner, you know, just providing fucking support.
I saw that, and it
was
was this woman telling this guy that he was, you know, a misogynist, and he absolutely was. And she was like, you know, you sound like you're a fan of that Predator. Fuck, I just said his name a minute ago. Top G. Andrew Tate. That's how inconsequential this piece of shit is. She's like, I bet you're a fan of that Predator, Andrew Tate. And then the guy's like, whoa, I think you mean alleged Predator. And it's just like, that's dude,
like, whoa.
Like, one, you proved her point, and two, that's not much better, dude.
No, you don't understand. You don't understand. He's a time traveler from 2008, and he didn't get to comment the rest of it. He was going to say legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
There we go.
And then put the cow emoji there. There's this crazy new show. It's called How I Met Your Mother. It's going to revolutionize TV. You don't understand.
Oh, crazy new. Oh man.
What's the next scene?
Moving on. Getting into it.
Yeah. So the next scene, we get another text on screen, which is funny. I always love when movies do that because you already know, you're like, all right, how long until they get tired of doing this? Mm-hmm. Like, it's not going to last the whole film. Have you ever been hit on the head?
Yeah.
Is the name of this next one. So and
short and sweet, baby.
It's very simple. Yeah, the father is sitting at this like countryside bus stop kind of thing. Train station, I guess. I think it's a train station.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there next to a window and he's smelling his fingers, which is so disgusting. And
leftovers.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
I'm sorry. Continue.
And there's a window right behind him, and we see this man who we do not know, and we will come to know him as the visitor. I suppose he is Q. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say, yeah, we just called him Q the whole time.
Yeah. There's never any like real direct dialogue with or to this character. He just kind of, it's a trip.
He just appears and is a part of the tapestry of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
Yeah. So he simply picks up a rock, walks up to the window of this train station, opens it up. Yeah, and just claps him in the coconut.
Yeah. And that's
just thunk.
in Visitor Q's defense, that's where I kind of like it in comparison to as much as I like Teo Rema. Like, I know I'm butchering that name, but fuck it.
I feel like you're doing okay.
The visitor that appears, they kind of just get this notice, and it's like a piece of paper, and it's like he's visiting tomorrow, and they're just like, fuck it, we're rich. Sure, we probably invited somebody. And the whole movie, you're unsure of. He's like laying pipe on the whole family. He like runs through that family like a goddamn train. And but at the same time, he's giving them these like monologues, these speeches of like hope, and he's like fixing all of their ailments. Like the father, he's like, why do you need to be this huge capitalist? Like, why do you need all of this abundance and stuff like that? Like, can't you just be free? And it's like, it's argued. That's why it was deemed like indecent and blasphemous to the church, is like, he seems so demonic, but he also seems angelic. And that's why I like this movie, because it's so cut and dry. Like, I took Teo Remo away because I guess it depends on your political leanings, that he was more angelic and hopeful. This dude, just straight to the point, he's not evil, but he's not good. He's very much like an anti-hero. And I wrote down like, this dude feels like and I had to Google it to get the right
neutral.
Well, I was gonna say, with it being Japanese, I had to Google the definition of it because I only knew from Death Note. He felt like a Shinigami from Death Note. And I wrote down, but the definition of Shinigami, I wrote it down and it kind of fits perfectly. I said, where are we going? We're stalling for time. I said, does Q equal Shinigami? And then it's like, quote, a monster, a helper, or a creature of darkness used for tales of religious talks or just folklore in general in Japan. And that's from the Wikipedia. And it kind of fits that vibe because he doesn't feel like he's really there. He's more so just like ethereal. Or ethereal.
Yeah,
he doesn't feel real. So it kind of feels like he's just, again, like in the original movie, this like
Yeah,
this
it's
kind
like
of
a hallucination that they
Yeah.
all like were
Yeah.
having at the same time.
Yeah, he's more like a spirit or something being like, hey, you're a
Yeah.
little too fucked up, my guy. You got to
Yeah,
calm down.
yeah.
Either be fucked up together or don't be fucked up at all. Like they're straying away. And it's
So
like, that's why I
true,
think
yeah.
it kind of, this is where it starts to get that wholesome vibe.
Weird. Weird. Not where I thought this conversation was going to go.
It's the Scrooge.
I'm intrigued.
It's the Japanese Scrooge. Visitor Scrooge.
Yeah,
Let's
pretty
continue.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Visitor Scrooge.
Visitor Scrooge.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Oh, man.
Okay, so now we're on to scene 3. It's kind of like in vignettes at this beginning part.
Yeah.
So this one is titled, Have You Ever Hit Your Mom? You know, again, just
There's no chill, bro. There's just no chill with this fucking movie.
they faked you out with the second one because I think we've all been hit on the head. Maybe not with a rock, but
Yeah, baby.
I mean, I skated for a long time. I voluntarily hit myself in the head, basically.
Yeah.
So in this
This
scene,
fucking scene, dude, I hate this shit.
we see the mother of this family, the mother of Kiyoshi's family. Kiyoshi is the husband. Miki is the daughter, and now we learn that Takuya is their son. So the mother is working on a
So
jigsaw puzzle,
Fucking psychopath.
and we can see that her hands have like red marks on them. And right as we're starting to question, like, you know, what those are, we see that like their house is just in shambles. All the like, you know, traditional like paper wall slats. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what to call
Yeah.
them. You know, it's like
I know
very
what you're
very
talking about,
thin
yeah. Like
barriers.
the dividers, the room dividers, yeah.
Yeah, like they have holes in them. There's
Yeah.
trash bags all over the place, loose trash. Like it's just a real shithole. And so Takuya comes in and immediately just starts throwing things around and yelling about how he hates the toothbrush that his mother bought him. And he goes and he has like a collection of these rods, which it took me a second and I realized they're for like beating a rug.
Beating
like having,
rugs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rug beaters. Yeah.
Yeah, which would hurt like fuck. It's just a big
Yeah, bro.
They do.
They're like steel fucking fly swatter looking things.
I
Like,
can
they're
attest,
Fucking wild.
My great grandmother, the few years I knew her, old nonna, like from the boat Italian lady, had them shits, and my God, I got whipped with that shit once, and I'm like, yes, ma'am,
Jesus Christ.
yes, ma'am.
Dude, fuck that.
It was the
Yeah.
olden days.
Yeah. That's when child abuse was, you know,
Yeah.
invented.
That was the
Yeah.
Great Depression era lady, so I gave her a pass on that.
The 1400s, Italy. Maybe I could just smack this kid.
Yeah.
No, that was like 1920s Pennsylvania, but close.
So he goes into his room
Oh, man.
and he has a collection of these rug
Yeah.
beaters.
This piece of shit.
And he comes down and he just beats the shit out of his mother with her, and it is so fucking uncomfortable.
It's pretty relentless.
And then-
it just keeps happening. So fucked.
And then he goes back upstairs all happy with himself, and his mom's downstairs, you know, crying and sobbing. And suddenly his bullies all show up, and we realize why he's such a little shit. And they just start letting off, you know, Roman candles, mortars, bottle rockets, things like that, like ranged fireworks. They're shooting them
Yeah, I
up.
think
No,
you hit
no
it right
sparkle.
with the Roman candles, I think was it, yeah.
Yeah, no snakes and sparklers for these kids.
No, fuck no, yeah. They went to like TJ to go get them shits, dude.
That's right. and he like ducks and covers, and you can just see, you know, he's so weak, obviously. And we also see the mother take this opportunity, like she doesn't even give a fuck that this is happening to their house.
No. She just starts like cleaning up.
Yeah, she just takes this opportunity to clean up the mess that they made.
Jesus
And then she goes into the other room and gets out her little kit and just starts shooting up some heroin, you know?
Yep.
Put a little smile on her face.
It wasn't even the heroin that was offensive in the scene. It was the patience that the scene had. Like who, I don't know if it was Miike. I don't know if it was the actress that knew somebody that was affected by this, you know, like addiction. But my God, like the patience and the practice that the scene had. It reminded me of the piano.
She takes her time.
Yeah, there's self-mutilation in the piano teacher that felt like way too like you've had experience in this, and I am concerned.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure. It looks a little too real.
Yeah, way too real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. See, that's what I'm saying with all the like cartoony shit that happens like surrounding the family. And like even to the family at times, it like there's this dark sense of realism that's just like always ever present in there, and it's just like it makes you feel fucking weird.
It feels like like this movie feels like you get 11 minutes of like zany bullshit. As offensive as it is, it feels very cartoony, and then you get like 2 minutes of darkness, and it feels like an ad break where you're getting like Nerf guns and like Polly Pocket ads. It feels like Cartoon Network on like a Saturday morning in 2003 mixed with like, you know, Martyrs. Like it is.
Yeah, it's true. It's just
what I mean
Adult
when
Swim at 3 a.m.
Yeah, when I say
it's
like it's not,
it's like Freakazoid.
Yes, exactly. When I say it's not as bad as I thought it would be the second time, like I don't know if you two just broke me. Like I don't know, but like the second time watching this, I was laughing. Like I was completely unaffected. I wasn't bothered by anything.
It's a really darkly fucking funny movie, dude. That's the thing. Like,
knowing what's coming makes it fucking hilarious, and that very much bothers me. Saying that out loud.
Yeah, straight up.
God,
he broke him.
You know, I'm sorry I went quiet for a second. I said Freakazoid out loud, that I was like, man, why has no one like pitched something as like Freakazoid for adults?
I know. The internet, because that was the whole thing. Like before the internet was the internet, like his whole power is that he got sucked into the internet and he was a nerd. It would be perfect for today.
God, I would absolutely fuck with the Freakazoid reboot.
That'd be a dark ass reboot.
Freakazoid, but he gets empowered through the dark web.
He gets sucked through 2015 YouTube and becomes like a Pepe stan.
That's amazing.
Oh God. He became what he sought to destroy.
Long enough to see himself become the villain.
We have like the clickbait villain, and he's just like clickbait, and like he sucks you in every punch he gets.
Literally just the name clickbait as a villain would be.
As a villain,
Fuck.
We have 10-minute Mark as a sidekick.
This is all getting cut out because this is too good of an idea.
We gotta LLC this immediately.
Freakazoid! I can't. I think his voice was something like that, like kind of like Pee-wee-ish.
Adjacent.
The Mask but blue.
Freakazoid and the Max crossover. Let's go.
Oh hell yeah!
Make it happen.
So on his way back from work, presumably he got hit on the head on his way to work, and then on his way back, he has a bandage around his head.
Yeah, he's just wrapped up.
And as he like comes back through the train station that he was at earlier, him and the visitor come into contact, and they just have like a standoff, and he's standing there holding a rock. And it's just real. I don't think it happens on screen. I think it happens off screen, but it's clear
it happens off screen again.
It's clear he gets hit in the head again.
Yeah, he hits him again.
Because that comes back at the end too, where it happens off screen, and you're like, oh shit,
Yep.
and then you just see her face, and you're like, I don't want to laugh, but damn.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I think that he's like not as malevolent and he's more benevolent, because like he only hits them those two main times, and it's after he fucks his daughter, when he's seduced by his daughter, and then at the end, you know, not to spoil it, but he comes. No, I'm not. Let me rephrase that. After he has sexual relations with his offspring.
With that woman.
I'm trying to think of a way to like advertise this on Instagram clips where like Dylan doesn't have to like completely change the dialogue. After he inserts
After
his
he's
Jimmy,
seduced by his daughter.
after he jimmies his jangles into his lady
into Jill's jungle.
offspring. Yeah, into Jill's jungle. he gets bonked on the noodle, and then we have a full circle moment at the end of the movie where someone gets bonked on the noodle, and it's kind of like this moment where like this visitor only gets violent with this family when they're like really fucking up. So like I'm like the second time watching this, I'm like, oh, he's actually not a bad dude. He's just like more of a watcher.
It's weird. Like I made the joke earlier, but straight up chaotic neutral.
Yeah, he doesn't encourage, but he follows along.
Literally, yeah.
He
doesn't discourage either.
Hey, do you?
You know what though? I think shortly after this, they do reveal, like right after this, they reveal that he lost his job. So going along with what Austin's saying,
the dad, you mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we find out in a few minutes that
we really don't figure shit out about Q, who he is, where he's from.
No.
Literally nothing. Like we just say like that's what we refer to him as, like an entity throughout this whole movie.
Yeah,
like, he's just a standby.
Yeah, he feels supernatural. Honestly, he's
straight up.
The only time we really get that sense is really at the end for like half a second with. The only way I can describe it is a lactose angel being made.
Lactose angel.
That's fucking disgusting.
We got a milky Mother Teresa on the kitchen floor, and we get this one little line of dialogue that kind of like hints at him being like ethereal or like if I always say ethereal, fucking ethereal. Jesus.
Yeah. It don't matter.
It's that mud person in you.
It's that mud person. It's that hell yeah brother in me. God damn it.
Let's go mudding and have a milkshake.
Let's go. Other
Whole
words.
different meaning with this fucking movie.
Red Solo Cup. You
to
fill
both
me
of
up.
those phrases, it's an entirely
Yeah. I chose my words carefully.
I stopped saying. We were saying the same thing. I stopped saying it halfway through, and I'm like, "Let's go tonight." Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
I've put too much evil in this world already.
Oh my god, dude.
So yeah, in a minute we talk about how like he lost his job and he's been lying to his family. He just says he's going to work. But, for all we know, he's just sitting at this train station all day on a normal day. But, to Austin's point, so he gets hit for what he did with his daughter. Then he gets hit again for this ongoing lie that he's portraying to his family. Because...
So you think that... So it's
I didn't even think of that.
The beating... Yeah, I was going to say the beatings were like moralistic.
I think
that's how I took it.
Like penance for something.
Yeah, he's trying to like beat him into shape.
No shit, really. Okay,
but I didn't even think
strange. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't even think of him sitting at that train just being like the stereotype of like, oh, the guy that loses his job and can't tell his girlfriend, so he sits in his car for 8 hours. That makes a lot more sense of like it being weeks and weeks. Because they bring it up later, like it's been a long time, and like that would make a lot more sense. Where like you have the Spirited Away No Face just being like bank right into his skull. It's like boop.
Yeah, it's
literally trying to literally beat sense into him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just like this movie beats you over the head.
Yeah, it's because in a moment he's going to watch his old videotapes, and I think that's what tells us that he hasn't been working for a while. So he gets hit on the head by the man again, and then suddenly they both arrive at home, and he doesn't even like introduce him. He just brings him in, and the mother is like, okay, well, I guess we're having an extra plate. And so she sets an extra serving for him. And as they're eating, the sun comes down, and I think he just straight like throws a bowl of like whatever they're eating at her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's so fucked.
And then he chases her around and just starts beating the shit out of her right in front of these two men. And they just eat their meal completely unaffected. And I made a note.
Yeah.
The family being indifferent to each other's dysfunctions. Like they're just all broken. So they're like, why even bother trying to fix one of these others?
It's not even just blinders on. They're just like letting the shit happen.
I do have one thing to add to this family dynamic, specifically right here, but in a couple other scenes. So I wrote down the sources because I want to shout these two channels out. One I follow, one I found. Cinema Nippon, Nippon, Nippon on YouTube.
Nippon.
And then literally just East Asian Cinema History on YouTube. That's the channel name. And they do these deep dives on like a lot of like Japanese and like Asian like movies. They talked about though it was essentially it was this East Asian Cinema History channel that was like visitor queue broken down in 3 minutes, and they talked about how this part in particular stood out to me. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was so impressed, and I specifically wrote down the channel name because I want people to listen to it. They wrote down kind of like the main theme of this, and it's essentially like in Japan, like pre-World War II. This movie's obviously about the nuclear family and about like family dynamics, gender roles, and stuff like that, and like a deconstruction of it, and how pre-World War II. Thoughts about like the nuclear family fading away was blamed on, Japan's boom in like urbanization and like the socioeconomic state. And then post World War II, we had children that were the enemy. It was parents that were blaming the rebellion against traditionalist ideas off their kids, in like the 70s and 80s. And then this movie kind of has the what they called the post millennium, or like, post Y2K.
Post Malone.
And where the Austin Malones, full circle, goddamn. The Hell Yeah Brothers. No, but the post millennium was the idea that it was blamed on, quote, the white collar salary father, and it's the idea that this stereotype of a man became the icon of masculinity in Japan. But at the same time as he was revered as the icon of masculinity, he was also, by the same people, not even a different like group of people, was seen as like negligent and irresponsible. So like looking at the lens of this after seeing that in this movie and seeing how like, if I hate comparing these two movies because it's like comparing Picasso to like the banana duct tape to a wall. And it's like, this movie reminds me so much of like The Witch, where if the father just like took his pride back a minute and really like reevaluated and like said like, I'm going to put my ego aside just for a second, he could have saved his family all this heartache. And
literally.
That's where I got the idea of like the beating over the head as like penance kind of thing. Because that act with his daughter, that act of like giving into your carnal desires, kind of spirals this family all to like unravel in this interesting way.
I didn't think we were gonna get the like.
Neither did I. No. You saw me. You saw me last week. You saw me last week. I literally had like, I looked like I had Botox because I had my fingers in my temples, and I was literally pulling my cheeks like I was in fucking.
He was stressed the fuck out watching this.
I wasn't even stressed. I was just miserable. I was like, "Fuck this movie. This movie sucks. This movie's stinky."
I'm over here having my fucking dinner. I'm over here
Miike.
eating my dinner, just fucking watching this man lose his
Takashi
fucking soul.
Miike, more like Takashi Stinke, am I right? No, but seriously. No, I was so mad, and now I'm watching it today for like 5 hours, and I'm like, bro, we got depth of character.
Yeah, straight up.
Out of this really garbage.
It really is one that doesn't. It does not seem like there's a lot going on. Much more than just the shock value of it in the beginning.
We have depth of character at home.
Exactly. It's like the opposite of Jane Doe, where I was like, I don't want to like read too much into this movie that's very like A, B, and C. But this movie, it's like X, Y, and Z. It's giving me like the bottom of the barrel. But I'm like, dude, there's so much to this. And I'm like pulling out James Bible verses, and I'm like, this is amazing.
It's actually interesting. During all of this, during the beating that the son is giving his mother, he like at one point he like swings a couple times and hits her, and then he cocks back and he stops and looks at him as if he like thinks like, oh wait, it's cool for me to do this in front of my dad, but maybe not this other guy, which is so fucked up. And he just goes, go ahead, don't mind me.
It's just funny because I didn't even catch that until you brought it up, and now thinking back on it, I'm just like, ooh,
he's like eating, whatever they have. He has like a mouthful of noodles or something, and he just like slurps up whatever he's eating, and then he just goes like, "Go ahead, don't mind me."
Yeah. It's like, oh, I forgot to offer the ketchup, but it's beating your mom.
Yeah,
it's very odd. Like,
yeah, and then I think it's after they're done, he mentions that he would like ice, and then Kiyoshi's like, "Can you get our guest ice?" And the mom gets up and limps across the room to get him ice. And I was like, wow, what a like strangely like sort of beautiful metaphor for what victims of abuse like most likely feel like, you know, like how does no one know?
Yes. Yeah.
Like how is it not
Oh,
obvious
yeah, for
what I'm
sure.
going through, and like just having to limp through life and that humiliation, you know, like
Yeah, the fact that she even had a limp before when we're kind of just first introduced to her when she's walking around, you're just like, oh my god, that's so
That's
so
true.
dark, dude.
And it's
yeah.
brought back around verbally in the dialogue later, and it makes it even darker.
yeah,
and I'm just
for
like, fuck. But like the way that she doesn't fall, pause, and get up. It's almost like it almost looks like performative, like dance, where like the sun hits her, she rolls into like standing up, like it's almost second nature. Like it's like, oh, this has happened for like a decade, and it's almost like ballet, like abusive ballet. It's really sad.
Like this is chill.
Yep.
Everything is fine.
Straight up.
Yeah, that's what you got to tell yourself.
We then cut to a scene of the father like late at night watching some of his old tapes. So we've seen him carrying this camcorder around, and it's footage of him with someone else behind the camera, and he has a microphone, and he's just trying to like man on the street interview different teens. And for people who don't know, especially in the early 2000s and like probably now as a result of the early 2000s, like the number of Japanese like subcultures, countercultures, which I mean probably worldwide as well, but in the 2000s like it just boomed. It turned into so many things, like, you know, like here it wasn't just preppies and jocks anymore. It was preppies, jocks, punks, emos, skater
Mods,
kids, you know. Yeah, it like becomes so similarly, you know, there's so many edgy countercultures in Japan around this time. And so he's just going up to all these like disaffected youths and trying to get interviews from them, and they're all just like telling him to fuck off and like not paying attention to him. And then he goes up to a group of guys, and it's clearly a terrible idea from the start. And he goes up and tries to interview them. And I think the implication is that maybe one or more of them are Yakuza, or they're like, they want to be Yakuza, but they're like, why are you filming me? Don't film me. Oh, you want to film me? I'll give you something to film. And they just start beating the shit out of him.
This is rough.
And I think they steal the camera, like they're filming at some point.
Yeah, they're filming. Yeah, they film him. Yeah.
And then they rape him with his microphone. Like
it's pretty rough, dude.
Yeah, we just see them, you know, straight up shove it up his ass. And so you know, there's a scene in a moment with one of his coworkers, and I think she's the one who reveals that as a result of this, he lost his job. This humiliation. They can't have this guy on the airwaves anymore when this is what happened to him. Obviously, this did not air, but he
but it got back to the producers and everybody.
I think she will say in a little while that he did try to get it aired. And that's why they
dude, it's weird. She
subversive.
totally does. Right? Yeah, it's fucking weird. But he's totally about that. He's like, it's about the story. It's about like the scoop, you know, that's about like the
true gonzo
imagery.
Journalism is getting penetrated.
The way I read it, the way I was reading it too, though, like bringing up that whole like overarching masculinity arc and like you know, like fatherhood and masculinity going hand in hand, and that disconnect he has with like youth of today, as well as you know, you see later with his son. This part stuck out to me a lot, and like every time he's kind of filming his family, that camera, you know, as gross as it makes it seem when you see scenes with that handheld camera, because it adds that very lifelike quality of, you know, finding a camcorder in someone's drawer, or even like cleaning out your drawers and finding an old camera and watching videos. It adds that lifelikeness to it. It also adds the sense.
Found a snuff film.
It also adds this sense of like, you know, just sadness on his part, because he's trying to like recapture this youth that he lost in his career. For sure. Yeah, because they kind of make it seem like he was like very high up in his job, and then he has this like,
like a
mental
fall from
collapse
grace.
yeah, exactly. This is his like uncut gems. Like, this is how I win. Or wait.
This is
Let
how I win.
me quote it better. Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking come. That's the uncut gem quote we're gonna use. Like,
Oh my God.
This is how
movie
he
has
wins.
come up in the last like 2 episodes, man.
Yeah,
Are we gonna
it's
have to do uncut gems at some point?
I mean, I bit my nails until they bled in the theater, and that's the only time I've done that.
It's the highest anxiety I've ever felt watching a movie for sure.
Yeah, it's not a good time. Nothing about it is enjoyable, but I like it.
Ironically,
I love that movie.
opposite
That's
a
one
good
of my
time.
fucking favorites. Yep. Yeah, it's a bad time. But the good time guys made it.
That's hilarious. So the next day, we see the father in his car, like on his way to work, and he sees his
quote unquote.
He sees his son being beaten and robbed by the bullies from school. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. He's not in the car for this part. He's on foot, and he sees his kid getting beaten and robbed, and he films it from a distance and like pats himself on the back for like how dope this footage of his kid getting beat up is.
So
are you winning, son?
It's hilarious.
I'm like, no, Dad. They beat the shit out of me.
And they're not the same kids, right? They're not the same. It's not the same group that fucking assaulted him, right? Like, it's not the
No.
I don't
those
think
were
so.
like
No,
those were
okay.
like late teenagers,
older,
like young
late
adults.
teens. Okay.
These are like 13-year-olds.
Yeah,
These are the same ones that lit all the fireworks from earlier.
yeah, they were his
They've just
classmates.
been terrorizing.
Yeah,
Because
they've
they
been
tell
terrorizing
him
the son.
earlier, they're like, you better come to school tomorrow, you pussy.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mhm. And then we see the mother getting dressed and ready for work, and she's kind of dressing up. So we're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like,
She's got a career.
yeah, like I wonder what she does. And as she's getting dressed, we can see all the marks all over her body from all the things he does to
Yeah.
her. There's burn
Jesus
marks.
Christ.
There's bruises. There's scars.
Welds, scars, bruises. It's fucked up, dude. It's just so many like marks and everything. You're just like, god damn. It's just so depressing.
Yeah.
What did I call this? I said that this almost felt like Requiem for a Dream.
I hate
like
that
a
you said
Japanese
that.
Requiem
Yes.
for a Dream.
I was
Yeah.
trying to pitch this. I was trying to pitch this to Alyssa last night to watch it because her friend was over, and I was like, "Hey, you want to see a dead body?" I was doing a Stand By Me essentially. I'm like, "You guys want to see a dead body? You want to poke it with a stick?"
Jesus.
And they were like, "So what's it about?" And I'm like, "Have you ever seen Requiem?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like,
Yeah,
it kind of
yeah.
makes that look like Kung Fu Panda.
I think that's
This is
that's
the-
kind of a decent description.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, it is.
it's like Japanese Requiem for a
It
Dream
is.
times 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. All like even the drug addiction, the son kind of doing his own
The
thing.
part where they
like-
go ass to ass.
Yeah,
Ass to ass.
Little,
You gotta do the
God damn
accent. You gotta do the accent. Ass to ass.
it. Ass.
Ass to ass.
He sounds like a Walker Texas Ranger bad guy.
It's funny because in 2001, 2 women with a double dildo connected to each of their buttholes was like an unthinkably horrible scenario.
That was still
And
illegal
now
in
that's
Texas.
all over the hub.
Yeah, literally. One of the first searches you ever go
That's
to.
like you're gonna see like Fortnite Roblox versions of that. You know?
I'll never forget the first time I heard the term double donger.
double dog. So stupid. And then that's the thing too. Was Requiem from the same fucking year?
Yeah.
Jesus,
I was just thinking
what
that.
The fuck? Dude, 2001 was wild for a
Listen,
lot.
all these,
we
all
had
these
a lot
auteurs
going
were
on.
fucked up.
Yeah.
We had a lot going on that year. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, they had a handful of things happening.
Yeah.
At least 2.
Oh, you might have heard of a little something called 9/11.
No, it's 11/9.
It's 11.
We gotta breach the censors.
And to the rest of the world, it was 11/9.
It's Slurpee Day. We got 7-Eleven at the
Slurpee
Pentagon.
Day.
Google 7-Eleven at the Pentagon.
Jesus Christ.
National Slurpee Day.
You're bad, man.
I am. I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the dad, I keep saying the dad and the mom, they have names, Kiyoshi and this synopsis does not have the mother's name in it.
Respectfully, neither of them deserve names for the acts they commit. So, like, you don't feel too guilty on this one.
Yeah,
fuck
they're
'em.
not parent of the year
Yeah.
quality. I'll
I
say
said
that.
copper lining, not silver or gold lining. So, yeah.
So he meets with his female coworker, and he's like, telling her, "Oh, I'm working on this story. It's gonna be so great. They're gonna love it, and they're gonna take me back." And she's just like, "Dude, they're not. Like your career's over.
Bro,
like
it's done.
Yeah." She's like, "I'm really sorry. Like it's really messed up that stuff happened to you. Like I don't know why you tried to get it aired." And he's like, it's
literally.
subversive. It's real. That's what we're supposed to do as like, news people. And she just disagrees. She just like kind of wishes him the best. And he's like, so you're not going to help me like get my job back, basically. Like that's what he wanted out of this meeting was for her to like see the merit and how smart and hardworking he is and help him get his job back.
Yeah, for sure.
We then go to the mother and we see what she went to do for work, and she also is a prostitute.
Yes.
And she's in another love hotel, but it's lower end than the one her daughter was in. It's a little more like I think there's one of those like I don't even know what it's called, but like the like big red X you just like handcuff somebody to.
It's one of the wooden X's.
Oh, St. Andrew's Cross.
God damn it, Joey. Like, the confidence in your fucking voice.
Too locked and loaded. Too locked. He didn't even fucking pretend.
I was waiting. I was ready to jump in and be like, listen, I know a little bit, and I'd say that maybe this isn't the most low end. Maybe some mirrors is a little lower end than like a nice BDSM cross. And Joey's like, actually, did you know that this is the St. Andrew's Cross? It was originally made in 1846 due to King Henry VIII, that kinky bitch.
Yeah, it
was later introduced to German dungeons, and now I'm here.
Yeah, Jesus.
My God, dude.
So there's a St. Andrew's Cross. And does she strap him up to it? I can't remember. I don't.
No, she doesn't.
No.
I don't think she does.
He comes out of the shower and he asks her to whip him.
Okay, yeah.
He just kind of like stands up against it.
Okay, so then she whips him with his belt, and then they start talking about her rate, and I can't remember exactly what her rate is, but she asks for less than the daughter.
Like less, yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay, well, I'll give you half that much."
Did you say less than $1? You said
no less.
No, than the daughter.
Oh, than the daughter, yeah. But real quick to rewind, right in between the whipping and the beginning of the scene, we do get this. I thought it was really fun. God, I don't like saying I thought this movie was really funny, but like we get this exchange. We get this exchange of him being like, it's like the equivalent of like the 2023 meme where it's like you see self-harm scars on someone or like a woman on a first date, and you're like, please stop for me. And it's like, baby, that's stretch marks. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's funny as fuck.
And then he's like, what is all this? And she's like, I don't know, burns, lashes, whips, chains, they all excite me.
Yeah.
Enter Rihanna song here, like everything and all things, because my son doesn't like me and I don't care. Yeah. But this, with that rate kind of comes back into my point of like her saying her rate being like so low. I noticed that this time. And then at the end of the movie, she kind of has this speech again, kind of giving in my point that this is a little, Copper Lining's Playbook with Bradley Cooper situation, and it's kind of happy and like this benevolent. I'm going to use that word. I don't think he's a bad guy, This spirit or deity or whatever the fuck he is, kind of like teaches her specifically. They all kind of learn their own thing. They learn their worth in their own way. And this is kind of the beginning of her arc where she's like kind of like stating her worth in her head. She's like, yeah, I'm worth like dirt and change. Throw pennies at my face and I'm happy with it. Because I did read that like she specifically doesn't do this for money to like pay bills. She does this just for drugs. That's what I was reading online.
She does this to get heroin to cope with what her son does to her.
Yeah. So this is kind of the beginning of that, and then this kind of comes back full circle with a conversation with our, Shinigami Yakuza sexy man. He's a little femboy. He's not ugly.
Cute. I gotta say too, the design on Q is like typical like Miike design. How you see he almost looks like it would have been like Kihara's thugs.
Yeah, he looks like
one of Kihara's thugs in Ichi the Killer.
He's like Joseph Gordon-Levitt if he was the Ichi. If he was Ichi. Mysterious skin meets Ichi.
Ah, that's so funny. No, yeah, it's totally true though. But like in that weird, going back to my point from earlier too, in a weird way, this is like the best possible outcome, weirdly, quote unquote, of like that arc that happens in Requiem for a Dream to the Mom.
Yeah. And even here with like her, I'm just now kind of thinking about this, like. She's stating that she's not worth much to herself, and this is the first time she's kind of taking power over somebody else, and she whips him with like very like frivolously like tap, and he's like no, harder, and like she starts fucking wailing into him, and he's like right there, and this is her first taste of like oh fuck, this feels good. I liked it a lot.
Welcome to the wonderful world of kink.
So we're saying Visitor Q is the good for her cinematic universe is what we're saying now. On a technicality.
I wouldn't say that so far.
On a technicality, yellow card.
Wow, shit. It might actually be the
yellow card. I hope I know sports enough to use that term right.
That's a technical foul.
Oh, I was wrong.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, then we see her go to the park, and it gets a little The Wire, and she buys a spider bag.
Wire?
And it was like her wobble made it like extra funny because it was like you said, The Wire. I was thinking that like who's the bald dude, like Assy McGee, but not Assy McGee.
Oh, Herc?
No, not from The Wire, but he's like the crooked cop show, The Shield. Michael Chiklis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I always think of Assy McGee when I think of that show.
Damn, no disrespect to the actor who portrayed Herc. You played that scumbag cop excellently.
Oh yeah, this was very like all of a sudden I'm just like, oh shit, we're watching 24. Okay, cool.
It's a brave man who goes, yeah, I do look like some fucking Peckerwood white supremacist cop. Yeah, we'll pay that.
His name was Michael Chiklis.
Yeah.
That's from The Shield.
Yeah.
Michael Chicleta. I'm glad that made Sideshow laugh.
Motherfucker.
So literally, she goes to the park and she buys some fucking heroin from this dude, and it's so strange, like to see this woman do that, but it's also like just very real. Like it's
very real. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of this shit is grounded in a very dark sense of reality. You're just like,
yeah. There's lots of people's moms who drop the kids off at school and then go torch up a spoon.
Yeah, the Franzia
fucking horse.
The Franzia Zanny moms,
Yeah,
I grew up in suburbia. I know the Zanny moms.
Something I heard recently is like now there's this drug for diabetics called Ozempic.
Yeah.
That is like in some way it's good for diabetes. It does something to like your metabolism that helps out with either type 1 or type 2. But as a side result, it also makes you like melt weight off of your body.
Every big celebrity's
like
on it.
Diet pills?
No, it's like a shot, I think, if I'm correct, but I'm talking out of my ass on that. But I do know a lot about this, unfortunately. Like Post Malone, if you've seen his before and afters recently, a lot of people are talking about him on. He's
to bring him back up.
Well, yeah, no, but seriously, he's allegedly been taking Ozempic and how he just shredded all that weight. There's lists of like celebrities that have been admitted to being on Ozempic, and that's the issue is that like it started off as this like revolutionary diabetic medication, and now it's just like insanely absurdly overpriced because people are using it as weight loss.
Like weight loss?
Yeah, literally
Yeah, well,
in
that's what
2
I'm saying, like-
weeks. You're just
We're bringing it back to fucking Requiem with the diet pills. Like, literally, that's what the fuck.
But no, that's why I brought it up, because like, yeah, this movie is going into like, yeah,
Straight
some
up.
of
Full
your
Q.
friends' moms are drug addicts.
it's
like,
not full circle. It's full.
Yeah.
Full Q.
Yep.
like I used to, my best friend in middle school, I didn't know this until later, but my mom used to help his mom, who was like, you know, at home, disabled with muscular sclerosis. But apparently his parents were just like huge fucking coke heads, and they were just constantly begging my mom to like help get them coke. And she was
God
just like, you gotta
damn,
fucking like
bro.
parent your kids. Like I send my
Yeah.
kid over to stay at your house. You know, the amount of
exactly.
coke, the amount of blow you're trying to get like all the time. Like, I don't know if I want my kid going to your house anymore.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
straight up, yeah.
That's the thoughts I've had some mornings on like a Saturday. I'm eating my fucking grits and my butter pad on top, and I'm just like having a great day. The birds are chirping, the sun's shining, it's a little overcast, it's 65 degrees. All you need is a light jacket, you know, it's the perfect day. But then all of a sudden your spoon drops and you're like, that's what that was when I was 6 years old.
Yeah,
no. Mr. Eddie wasn't a nice man.
literally.
No, but like seriously, I'm genuinely relating to that. Like I've had that moment where I'm like, oh shit. Hold up.
Yeah, that's what that was.
When I was in high school, I told this to one of my friends, and this happened when I was like 11 or 12. So I told this story to my friend, and then they had like some commentary afterwards. But I was talking about, I used to do karate, and I think I only ever got to like blue belt or something. You know, I was pretty young. It's just like a tough thing to commit to when you're a kid. But you know, it was fun for when I was doing it, and I always liked like learning the katas and stuff like that. And I remember they did a sleepover at the dojo. They did like a yearly sleepover thing, you know. And so I went over there and just like hanging out, doing stuff, whatever. And there's like the older kids, because at any dojo you have people of like all ages. Yeah. And I remember the sensei being like, hey, I'm showing the older kids this movie, and I wouldn't normally like show it to somebody your age, but like you're really mature.
God,
so if you want to come in here, like we're watching this movie, the look on Sideshow's face.
Where's this going?
No, I didn't want to interrupt you. I really didn't. But like, I literally was going to say, "What, are you really mature for your age?" And I was holding it back, and then you said it, and I'm like, "You're just gross, Austin. Don't think those thoughts."
So I went into this other room, and it was like a bunch of the black belt kids, and they were watching Samurai Assassin.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank God.
Lone Wolf and Cub.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's Visitor Q.
Yeah.
No. But so I watched. I mean, this was Visitor Q was out at the time. If I was like 11 or 12, it was like 2003, 2002. But it's just hella funny because I told that story to my friend when I was in high school, and he was like, "You ever stop to think that maybe he molested you and you just think that you saw a movie?" And there was a good few minutes of my life when I was like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah. Did he? We all had a therapist when we were 4 years old that made us sit in his lap and read zoo books. I understand.
No, we didn't.
Anyways, what's the next scene in this movie? What's going on? Dr. Freudenberg, what are you doing to me, man?
All the emails we're gonna get
it's
is
been 26
he was molested.
That's for you and your therapist to sort out.
I'm gonna leave with the audience that is not true nor false. The story I told, and that is up to you to decide.
So when the mother gets home, she discovers the pieces from her jigsaw puzzle forming a trail throughout the house, and she follows them to one of the back bedrooms, and there's a photograph of her daughter. The visitor is home, and he comes in, and they have just this weird intimacy where, like, he helps her shoot up, right? Like, comparing the synopsis to my note. This is where he helps her shoot up. So he shoots her up into the scars from her abuse. The drug that she's doing to find an escape from this abuse. So that's just like a really crazily poignant metaphor.
That's a whole lot
and that's
to
why he
dissect,
feels
isn't it?
very like angelic and I'm something I'm just now realizing now. It has that like sympathy for Mr. Vengeance quality where like when he grabs her and helps her to shoot up, it doesn't feel malicious, even though they're not on good terms and it's like a business. He's
not trying to worsen her disease. He's trying
just
to help
like
her.
you're gonna do it, so let me do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Harm reduction.
It's
Harm reduction.
It's a safe injection site.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is hilarious. I'm just gonna read it word for word. The visitor introduces her to lactation sex. Parentheses. Squeezing her nipples to make her lactate. A recurring theme in this film.
Yeah, that's funny.
And look,
that's
no
so
yucking of
funny.
yums.
That's
we
so
have
funny.
said this so many times on this fucking podcast.
Who hasn't gotten a little breast milk in their mouth as an adult? Am I right?
That's so funny and not sexy at all. And I didn't feel blood leaving my thighs and entering my hips. It's okay.
Austin likes milky.
I like milky. Vitamin D is what I give the mommy milkers, and vitamin D is what they give me.
And I don't know.
Please cut that out.
Nope, that's staying in for sure.
Oh no,
10,000%, dude. Here's the thing you got to learn now that you're on this side of the recording process.
No, it's now.
There's no asking him to cut out something that you regret saying.
It's the fact that I saw the statistics and I know that people actually listen to this now, and I'm like, oh god, oh no.
Hi, y'all.
So yeah, the really gross, disgusting, disturbing, and really off-putting, and wanted to make me vomit in my mouth because I was so offended. Like milking scene with this woman. What were you saying about that, Chad?
Yeah,
that really grotesque
that's the one.
scene.
Good cover.
The one you found really horrifying.
Yeah, the one where like this woman was discovering her sexual beauty and that she was worthy and that I totally wasn't getting off to both emotionally and physically. What were you saying about it?
My soul cried, but the thing about my soul's tear ducts is they're located in my dick.
My penis.
Have you seen Bad Milo?
No.
Okay, look up the monster in Bad Milo, and that was my penis during the scene. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh Lord. We'll put a picture of that up on social media.
Blur
No
out the word
context.
penis and then put Steamboat Willie over that word.
That's
gonna
my
clip this.
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, that's the clip.
That's hilarious. So Takuya, the son, witnesses this, hiding behind the door to the room. So he sees this stranger squeeze his mother's nipples until just fucking gallons and gallons come out.
Mom?
And this might seem like an excessive amount of milk, but just wait.
Oh, fuck, this is the tip of the iceberg, so to speak.
They technically later in the movie don't specify what that white milky liquid is. Could be a nice
true.
cocktail.
God damn it. God damn it. Emphasis on cock.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Haha. You got the setup
This
and the
show is
payoff
just
on that one.
This is easily the dumbest episode we've
This is the
ever
best
recorded.
one.
Sometimes you
this
have
is a
to go.
podcast. It's three dudes in their like early 30s like making penis jokes. What about a podcast do you not
Yeah,
understand?
literally.
Yeah. I
We
miss
are the
when there
Doge
was
meme.
someone to round us out and keep us in line.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
So that night at dinner, the mother is much happier than usual, and she has prepared a nice meal. Like
a little pep in her step.
she's prepared like a
Or her
large
waddle?
meal,
I don't know.
like a traditional kind of Japanese, like multiple,
Yup.
like not even multiple,
Just a feast.
not even multiple courses, just multiple dishes on the table
Yeah.
that everyone
Bunch
is
of
welcome
different
to.
dishes,
That
yep.
family style, And she's like, yeah, that pep in her
She's
step.
like happily serving everything.
That-
She's
kinda
like humming while
a
she's
song.
chopping.
She got that skip in her limp, if you will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's hilarious. And Takuya is sullen. He's all upset about what he saw his mommy doing with Santa Claus earlier.
This is a Christmas movie. Thank you.
Motherfucker.
Holy
You're
shit,
reinforcing it. I know. I saw Santa milking mommy.
God, when does the milk end?
He just fucking was missing those cookies.
Oh, Lord. Just comes in with some Oreos, guys. Mommy
Oh my
Milk's
God.
favorite
We
cookie.
need to get through this fucking movie at some point. Let's get through
Dude, we have
this.
like 20 minutes left. This is the shortest episode we've done.
Yeah,
We're not even an hour and a half. We're just having fun.
man.
We're having like really good fun, so it feels long.
So stupid.
so Takuya is all upset, and I was wrong. This is where he throws the bowl of soup at her face. He
Yeah.
threw other shit at her earlier.
Mhm.
So he throws a
Yeah.
bowl of hot soup at her face, and she dodges it like no sweat. And instead of being upset, she walks over, grabs a carving knife, and throws it at his head. And he dodges
flings
just
that
in
shit,
time.
dude.
She also says before she walks away, she's like, "I told you, God damn it, not my face. Like that's my moneymaker, pretty much." And then when she brings the knife in, she's like fucking phallically cutting a cucumber. Before she whips it at
just
him,
chopping it
she's like, "I
aggressively.
told you, not my face, bitch," and then cuts his
Yeah.
dick off metaphorically, and then whips it at his face.
And then even everyone in the room is like super surprised that it happened. They're like, "Whoa, shit!"
And then we have
All
Q.
right.
We have Q just slurping up his noodles, being like, "Yeah, you're goddamn
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I did that. You're
You go,
welcome,
girl
ma'am."
boss.
You're welcome.
Everyone
man.
is pleased except the son. However, the father becomes exhilarated when the school children start attacking his house with fireworks again, which he videotapes. Meanwhile,
Jumps up.
the mother and the visitor continue to eat peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, the son is being bullied again, and we see that the father, along with his female coworker and the visitor, are in the female coworker's car, filming the bullying and the beating.
Here we go.
The coworker gets fed up with the father, tells him that this is all stupid and disgusting, that it's not going to get him his job back, basically that he's a bad father and a bad journalist, and tries to leave. He follows her on foot and attacks her, and they're sort of like, it seems like they live a little bit in the countryside, but not very
Yeah,
far
yeah.
from a city.
Yeah.
Like they're like a short drive or like a train ride from the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So they're kind of on this like farmland.
Like countryside, like roadside. Yeah.
Yeah, where there's like an embankment on the side of the road, and then there's like
They're
not.
next to a river.
Yeah, there's a river, and then there's like I don't know what, but there's shit planted out there. You know,
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean.
for
They're
sure.
like by farmland. So he assaults her, and they fall down the embankment, and it just goes from physical assault to sexual assault to him raping her while choking her, and he climaxes and realizes he killed her. He takes her body back home and puts her in the greenhouse behind their house. The visitor is still taping at the father's instruction.
God damn, dude. Yeah, this is fucking.
This-
oh yeah, the
yeah.
Q was there the whole time, mind you. That I don't know if we mentioned that, but Q was just standing by and like recording
He was
the whole thing.
filming. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and the son gets pissed on. I forgot that. They piss on
Oh,
his
yeah,
son, and he
yeah,
just like
yeah.
lays there silently.
Yeah.
It's all bad, man.
Feels bad, man.
It feels bad, man.
And so he's telling the
And
visitor.
it's good. It's about to feel a whole lot fucking worse.
Yeah, this
Absolutely.
is also the first time where the I can't make the funny ha-has, the hee-hees, the goofs and the
Yeah,
gaffies.
it's gonna get real fucking bleak real fast.
That scene where she's getting fiddled and diddled on the off the trail the
Jesus
trail the
Christ.
train track. I'm trying to be censor polite, even though this episode like it's pointless at this point.
The whole thing's getting we're not monetized, but it's
No, but like, oh, dude, this is like the first time in the movie where like, as fucked up as this movie is, and this is why I feel bad because the people that won't watch this, which is going to be 90% of the people that listen to it,
yeah.
if they're stupid but also smart at the same time. I sound crazy, but this is the first time where I was just like, "Oh, no funnies, no funnies for me." The only funny I could make is it was right off the train tracks. So like when this isn't funny at all, actually, but like the second time watching it, because I was so numb to it, I did hear in the back of my head, I'm just like, all you had to do was follow the goddamn train, CJ. Like if she just like she.
That was good.
That's the American history, San Andreas. That's what Visitor
I never
Q is.
thought we'd get a fucking GTA reference.
I was like, I have to make it funny, or else it's just assault.
Or else it's just painful.
Yeah, like I have to tell myself Edward Norton's a Nazi, or else it's just sad. He's just getting his butthole stitched and he's crying, you know? Like, I have to justify it that he deserves it somehow. And I don't think this lady deserves it, but if she just followed the goddamn train, she would still not know that her mom was killed by her friend. Spoilers.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But we float on.
Is it all out of your system?
It's all out of my system. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This movie has incited like a virus in me, dude. It's
a riot in your internals.
Dude, I feel like a verbal Charlie Chaplin right now. Oh, it's
The
bad.
two wolves inside you are going wild.
One is a white monster energy can, and the other is whatever the fuck this movie is.
I love the Family Guy joke about why Charlie Chaplin couldn't make it in the talkies, and it just goes to cuts to him, and then it's his turn to speak, and he's like,
Stupid.
So the visitor is taping him with the coworker's body in the greenhouse. The father is telling him to do so, and then Kiyoshi tells him, go inside and get some garbage bags from my wife. So he goes inside and asks her for the bags, and she's standing in the kitchen, and she takes her clothes off to reveal that she's dressed in a garbage bag with just her tits,
with the nipples cut out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells him,
all right, calm down with that.
No. That's not why I was doing that. I was doing. Wait. Hold up. That's not why I was doing that. This is the one time I'm not being horny. This is the one time I'm not horny posting in chat right now. I was saying that because this is the scene where I implied that it would be, full circle when she was, prostituting herself, finding her self-worth. This is the scene where she has that conversation. And she's kind of like, because of you, I found my worth as a person. Yeah, that was the...
And then you got her horny again.
Yeah, I mean, I like my fruit ripe. I'm sorry, Joey. I like my bananas a little brown. I don't know what to tell you. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
He likes a little extra mold on his yogurt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That one was a little far. I don't mean to. It's a fucked up trope to devalue women as they age. Penises can be moldy yogurt.
It's okay. Yogurt's already moldy, so she's just a probiotic. So she's just gut health, baby.
She's a probiotic.
You swallow her up, and that's just gut health. That's a bar.
It's like those the ones Jamie Lee Curtis eats.
Swallow that coochie, call it gut health, huh?
Jesus. So yeah, she tells him, I learned how to do it on my own because of you, because of what you showed me.
Oh my God.
And at some point in this, she says, "I'm just an ordinary woman," which is just a strangely beautiful line in this context, and exactly like Austin said, like she's like finding herself and her worth through all of this.
Yeah, she found agency for sure. Yeah. Weird way to show it.
Yeah,
she literally fills the entire room. It's like ankle deep. It's all over the floor.
Yeah.
There's a few shots of him literally holding a plastic umbrella watching her just rain breast milk.
Yeah, if you're not gonna watch them,
shot
if you're
is
not
so
gonna
funny.
watch the movie for a nice visual, like a nice verbal idea of it. Since we were talking about gut health, and women, as they age, they're just better and better. Think of this as like kombucha spilling out of her. It's that kombucha.
Oh my god!
It's fermented just enough to have
Yeah, I was
that,
gonna say fermented.
that beautiful gut health, that beautiful probiotic, and that nice papaya flair.
Oh,
That
my
nice
God, you're having a
vinegary acidity.
You're having such a great fucking time.
I know, dude. We have to pick terrible movies to do from now on.
Only bad movies.
I tried too hard when I really liked the movie.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
So during this time, as this is happening, Kiyoshi is out in the shed by himself, and he's just like propped the camera up to film himself. Because now it's a documentary about a man who was pushed too far and murdered a woman and is dismembering the body. He's just like completely lost the plot.
Yeah.
And he's marking on her body with a marker the best places to cut her up, and he just very quickly becomes like him drawing on her titties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So stupid.
Like he quickly just
It
devolves
totally-
into
devolves,
horny brain.
Yeah, he makes it like a dartboard. I was like, are you gonna like dry those out like a flower in a book or something?
Yeah.
Like, why?
All right, chill out, Ed Gein.
So he gets horny, and I think he has a line about like living or dead, something. And he's just like, yeah, let's do it. So he just decides he's gonna fuck her, and as he's fucking her dead body,
Disgusting.
all of a sudden he goes, "Oh my god, this is one of the
You're
mysteries of life. You're wet. Oh my god!" He looks into the camera. Even a dead
fucking
woman can get wet. This is so beautiful. This is one of those unexplainable phenomenons. And he reaches down and lifts his hand up, and it's just covered in like gray brown fucking diarrhea.
Fucking disgusting.
And he's like, "It's not a miracle of life. It's shit."
Which is a great way to like sum this movie up,
It's a great way to sum
That
up the
line
Sunday
right
to
there.
Monday transition, if you ask me.
Sunday to Fudge Day.
Jesus.
And
And then he discovers, he tries to wriggle free and discovers that he is stuck inside of her due to rigor mortis.
rigor mortis. Yeah.
He's
fucking disgusting.
he screams in pain, and the other two finish up what they're doing at some point. There's like a little bit of a time jump cut here, and all of a sudden she's out here trying to help him pull out of this fucking woman, and she doesn't seem at all bothered. There's no explanation of what happened.
She's happy to help. She's just happy to help.
Yeah. So they move him and the body into a bathtub, and she goes to the store, and it's like a supermarket showdown,
Supermarket shop. I literally thought the same thing.
She's just flying around, just getting all the oil that she could possibly
so
get.
good. It totally is.
So he's in.
Film's just exactly like that too.
Yeah, it's shot like it. It's kind of lit like
Shot
it.
exactly like it. That's so fucking.
It's
good. It's
amazing.
got like the cart cam facing at her, and she's just like swinging around the store, all fucking jolly and shit.
Exactly. I'm glad I'm not the only one who saw that.
No, it's totally right. It's so fucking funny.
So she empties gallons of oil into the bath with her husband
Yeah.
and the corpse, and nothing is happening.
Gross.
He's not getting loose. And all of a sudden, she has an idea, runs out of the bathroom, comes back with her little kit, and shoots him up. And all of a sudden, he relaxes, and we get a good.
The fuck, yeah.
This right here is the Christmas
Fucking
miracle.
pop, dude.
This is the Christmas miracle. I mean, it's not specifically,
Fucking
but this is the other
disgusting.
point. So we have her arc where she's like, "Oh, Q, you've helped me come into my own and embrace not just my
You've helped me
sexuality, but
come."
my love." Yeah, well,
Literally.
yeah, that, but also like through her sexuality and her even perversions, like her her deepest perversions that like all of this family is facing. Like the son's facing this perversion with abuse, the mom a perversion with drugs, the dad a perversion with like sex and power and a lack thereof, and the daughter a perversion with like money and stuff like that, running away. And with the mother finding that perversion of like accepting this is where she's like, I'm opening up to you, because this family is so cut off from one another that they can't communicate. They've lost their ability to open up. So like the father's only able to connect with his family
like,
through
connect.
a camera lens, and like the mom only has to be strung out. So and the son only has
There's
to beat
that
his
level
mom.
of like,
And he-
there's that level of like disconnect that happens too.
Yeah,
and
this is the
I think to
scene-
build upon what you're saying about him, I think you're totally right. But to even build upon that further, he never cared about his kids or to learn about their lives until he found out they could be fodder for his career.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, like he fucked his daughter because he was seduced by her because of, you know, him, the potential of him being famous. And, you know, he only was, you know, he didn't even help his son. You know, he was like, if I don't help him, I can get famous. But this is the first time we're seeing this family coexist between like, I can help you with my perversions. I'm going to open up to you. And then like the dad,
That's so fucked
after
up.
she helps him with the drugs that she hides from everybody and like shows that full side of herself. Because you can't love somebody until you see the disgusting parts of them. Like you have to be able to be like, okay, I can accept that, even though it's And then, you know, with that dead body, she's like, "Oh God,
It's a little bit of heroin. Come
like
on."
I've seen the worst of you. Your cock is, you know, your pee-pee is stuck in her, you know, stiff little vajiji. Why does she have the stiffy? You know, this is an issue we should discuss right now. And this is the first time they're really acting like a couple, and that whole arc of him being so emasculated from like the lack of work and like being shamed by like his job where like it's broadcasted to like the surrounding area is kind of like melted down, and they're having that Christmas miracle moment of like, we see each other for the first time. Like Q brought them together.
That's such a fucked
did.
up way of putting that.
He
But
did.
You're exactly right.
That's like the true. It's about family bonding through trauma and like, you know, learning how to navigate each other's dysfunctions and inadequacies, and like they're making each other worse because they're all already broken.
Visitor Q is the true meaning of Christmas, and I want to like fist fight somebody that
I want
disagrees
that
with
on
me
the
on
record.
this. I want this on a fucking t-shirt.
I
want the mom wrapped in the tarp with a Santa hat on her head.
Dude,
That'll be a hilarious sweater for next year.
right?
So I wrote
Make ugly Christmas sweaters out of that.
I wrote here the most realistic depiction of necrophilia, and the world was made worse for it.
Yes. Yeah. This was the only second time that I didn't laugh. I was making jokes in my head to get through it, but I wasn't laughing. It's like the Meatwad meme. It's like, I get it. I'm not laughing, but I get it. Like, it's just-
I did it. I ain't laughing, but I did it.
My favorite thing to say in Meatwad's voice is from when Shake destroys Carl's car and then Carl gives it to Meatwad because it's just like a wrecked piece of shit. And he's working on the car with Boxy Brown and he goes,
Okay, now when I tell you to punch it, you do whatever it is people do when they're told to do that.
So good.
you do whatever it is people do.
Speaking of Aqua Teen, that's a good synopsis. We should have cut the synopsis out here and just say synopsis for this is like just watch the Hand Banana episode.
Yeah,
That's the synopsis for Visitor
This is
Q.
Hand Banana the movie. I want to be the enforcer. Oh no, I don't like that name. I want to be called Spaghetti. That's what he says. You know, I'm not feeling him, but me and you, we got a real vibe going.
Oh man.
Carl Brafalafa, whatever.
My knees weak and my arms are heavy. There's not vomit on my sweater already, but my forehead is quite sweaty. I did have mom's, cavatapia earlier, not spaghetti, but it was close.
You know, listeners might not know this, but Austin's from 5 Mile.
On the surface, I did look calm and ready to drop bombs, but Visitor Q keeps me steady Based
You're
on what I
gonna keep
wrote down,
going.
based on what I wrote down, the whole crowd listening to this will not be loud. I open my mouth and
damn it.
I think we're gonna lose them because they won't go wow. Sorry,
This is all
They're
just
done.
Sorry.
incredibly off the cuff.
sorry. Hold on. I'm choking now.
It's over. Wow.
Whoa! That was completely off the cuff.
That's hilarious.
That's
That
my
was
golf
that
club.
was really well done. We're the
No,
rappers.
thank you.
Golf
Thank you.
clubs,
The only
golf
not
clubs.
rapper on the Zoom call.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like totally to Austin's point. Like everything is out in the open now. So when they continue dismembering her body, or when they begin, technically, they're just doing it in their front yard. It's just a family activity. They're not doing it in the greenhouse anymore. They're not tripping about hiding it. And as they're like getting ready to like chop up this naked body, the son comes home with his bullies beating the shit out of him. And the parents just like, I don't think there's even like words exchanged. They just look at the kids see them with this corpse, and they just pick up all the tools that they had out and just start lodging them in kids' skulls.
Well, they're
There's literally
they're also doing that. If I misheard you, I apologize. But they're doing that because this is the first time the father is seeing his son. His son gets kicked to the ground and they're kicking the shit out of him. So like this is the first time that like he's taking that masculinity. He's taking that fatherhood role. That's what I'm saying. He's taking that role of fatherhood and masculinity back through this connection to his family. And even if he's like a psychopath that's killing, this is like their mutual way of like, I see you. You know, like
that's fucked up that you made sense of that.
You know,
because now he can be a father because he's not being a journalist.
Yeah, you know
being a
like
journalist,
as ridiculous as the Ichi scene is, where he slices
that's some real
that guy in half.
Jungian shit right there.
Like as ridiculous as that is in Ichi, where he slices that guy in half, there's like so much subtext going on, and this is kind of what that reminded me of, where like he has like a fucking what's the toy company that makes the toy saws? He has like a Tonka saw, and he's just sawing into this kid's forehead, and it's shot like it's Jason and the Argonauts, like it's like stop motion almost. And I'm just like, this is hilarious, but also like good for you, hell yeah, dad of the year, like.
Yeah, you're like, go family, murder these children.
Yeah, this is like the dad, I'm gay. And he's like, I know, and I love you, son. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Like they put us through so much shit that by the end of the movie, when they murder a bunch of children, we're cheering.
Yeah.
Like by being indulged in their world, we become like victim to their kind of moral framework.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that he's able to do that though. He's able to like put the viewer in that perspective. You know what I mean? Like make them feel something.
It's always
different.
interesting. Like I'll be watching Narcos and I'll be like, man, I hope these cops arrest this drug lord. Like, you know, it's crazy.
I was
a good writer could fuck with you.
They were comparing this. Miike actually stated that the happiness of the Katakoris is, quote, something of a sister film to this project specifically.
Yeah, the other side of the coin.
Yeah, and it's like it's the tagline from what I was reading was Dawn of the Dead meets Sound of Music. And it's
That's amazing.
It's
What
the same.
fuck?
It's a great movie. It's on Tubi right now. Everybody go watch it, please. But like, it's the same plot line almost beat for beat, but this like very like. In to put it simply, they were comparing Miike to Shakespeare. I know, we're breaking out Shakespeare on Visitor Q. Because
we did make that connection
because
before. I think this was off mic, but yeah, we totally did.
When Shakespeare in the first act, in the first scene, you can tell if it's going to be a comedy or a tragedy based on the interactions. If it's going to be a joke in the first act, you're in for a not sad ending. And Miike wanted to kind of flip the script on that. So he made Visitor Q very absurdist and over the top. Or I'm sorry, I take that back. Very dark and fucked up in that first act. And then slowly unravels to this family coming together. And I'm not going to spoil categories, but it kind of is the flipped script of that, where it's a similar plot line, it's a similar through line, but it has the comedy and tragedy. It's a good double feature. And I thought that was cool reading it. He considers them sister films, like they should be double featured back to back.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to go watch that one.
Yeah,
that's very interested in watching that one.
It's great.
After the family group murder activity, we see Takuya laying face down in the gross, goopy maternal milk and doing milk angels.
That's disgusting.
And the visitor is standing in the doorway watching him, and he thanks him for bringing the family closer than they've ever been, for fixing them. The visitor leaves the family, and we suddenly see a scene of Miki, the daughter, out on the street in Tokyo. Soliciting.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's just out there, trying to get clients. Yep.
Yeah, she's out there soliciting men.
I forgot that she comes back. That's right.
Yeah, you only see she bookends the film.
Yeah, for sure.
So she's on the street in Tokyo, I would assume, and she's walking around soliciting men that are walking by, and suddenly she walks up to somebody and solicits him, and we realize that it's the visitor. And he's smoking his trademark cigarette, and he picks up a rock right in front of her, and she just sits there like she's just like confused, you know? It's just like, you don't think this dude's gonna hit you in the face. What are you gonna do? Stab me?
You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?
Yeah. And then he hits her in the face with the rock, and she collapses. We see that, scarred and bruised from it. She comes back home to the family, and when she goes in the house, she can't find anyone. So she looks around and finds them in the garden, and her mother is wearing a tarp over herself, like very Virgin Mary kind of imagery.
It's the same tarp that he had on earlier, right? That he had laid out earlier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the tarp for the body. And the Kiyoshi is sucking on her breast, just like drinking milk.
It looks like a Grecian painting, man.
And
so
the daughter is like hypnotized by the scene. And the final shot of the movie is of the daughter and the father suckling on the mother's breast, symbolizing the return of family order. And all the scars on the mother and the daughter have disappeared, suggesting that the family has symbolically been healed by Q's actions.
Suggesting that Q is an angel and this is a Christmas movie. Dude, no, that's literally not the Vatican Jesus. What's the word? That's like is it nativity? Like it feels like a nativity scene at the end. Like the way they're wrapped up and they're all holding baby Jesus. Like this feels like a holiday movie. I'm mad it's going to drop around like February. We can argue it's a Valentine's Day movie, but this feels like a Christmas movie. Like you want to break this out with the fucking Dearborn ham, you know?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh my god!
And that's Visitor
movie,
Q.
Dude. That's Visitor Q.
I do love that ending just because it wraps up in a perfect way where, like, God knows you don't want to rewatch it, but when you have to, when you do a podcast and you waited a week to take notes, it does have this like the end, like. Okay, I'm not going to say the end. The real ending of Futurama, it has that nice time loop kind of feeling because like it opens up with those two kind of like starting this almost like fractured timeline. It's almost like Donnie Darko, like Visitor Q is Jake Gyllenhaal and he comes in and the first scene is this, it kind of splits off and he's like, He's like the Jurassic Park virus, and then he just beats them over the head until they get back into place, It's a Christmas movie. Visitor Q is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I forgot what the angel's name is, and It's a Wonderful Life. But
or the angel Clive Owen plays in Natural Born Killers.
Okay, so quickly, memes aside, jokes aside, irony aside, ha-has aside, I wanted to add this at the end before we do scores. As I was digging through Reddit and stuff, I try to avoid reviews. I try to avoid opinions because I am one of the people where they totally latch on to me and they bleed into my opinions until after I talk about it when I need to. So I tried to focus just on like what the fuck I just watched, like context more than anything. And I couldn't find this online anywhere aside some like weird back alley, like weird, like Asian porn site.
Some-
it was very
some no-no sites.
when I start getting like porn ads on movies that are horror movies, I click out of there real quick. So
Like we said, if you see titties, you've gone too far.
yeah. So this is directed by a guy named and I'm gonna butcher it, Hisasu Sato. This came out in 98, 3 years before Visitor Q. It was called Soft Skin. It's kind of cited, I've seen across the board, as a lot of people saying like it is a much lighter version of Visitor Q. Like it's a black comedy that kind of almost has a beat for beat, very similar plot, and it delves into the same themes with like family dynamics and social and gender roles in this very disgusting way. It's, I want to say, like, since I haven't seen it, I can't say, but it kind of seems like Wicker Man and Midsummer situation. Some people say it's a homage. Some people say it's a direct ripoff. So I really want to find that and watch it. But yeah, that I would say to really find that, watch that. I believe it's on Mubi. I just didn't want to pay for it because I was on a time crunch. Yeah. And then Teo Rema by
Pasolini.
Piano Man. Yeah, that guy.
The Piano Man. You know, the sad clown.
Yeah.
The doctor. I am Pasolini.
No, but I wanted to mention that because it's allegedly this movie, as much as we found out that it's a heartwarming Christmas story that's as classic as, St. James Bible, King James Bible. Clearly, it had some very strong draws from a previous thing. I'm not going to say it was, stolen line for line, but it seems like it was
heavily influenced.
Heavily under the influence is what this movie feels like. So with that being said, if you want to get into ratings before my internet crashes again, we can do that.
Well, let me just do my trivia man dance at the end.
Oh, yes, okay, yes, please.
Mm-hmm. So before the pod tonight, we were like joking around about Dogma 95, which is a movement started by Lars Van Trier and some other dickhead who's I'm not even going to bother looking up again. But basically, it was just like, no, I can't have any effects in my movie. Everything's got to be in camera.
It's the Lucky Strikes of movies, if they were cigarettes. Yeah.
So there's only 35 Dogma 95 films. And the first Dogma 95 film, the first one to follow the dogma and what they call the vow of chastity, which is just like, we get it, you're all virgins, was Lars von Trier's The Idiots. Visitor Q is loosely inspired by The Idiots, which explores themes of societal conformity and rebellion. So we were just totally fucking around earlier saying, what if this was a dogma film? And I thought that was
real quick. You're talking about that other fucking guy you're not going to bother to name, Thomas Vinterberg. I looked him up real quick because I was curious. Did you guys see Another Round from 2020 with Vigo? No. He did Another Round, and he also did
I really wanted to.
And he did The Hunt from 2012. That guy.
Oh wow!
Slaps. Just found that out just now. Thank you, Chad, for the trivia.
Yeah. You're welcome. Well, it turns out I should have put more respect on his name.
You put some respect on that name.
Respect.
So, this movie was filmed in 7 days, supposedly.
Yeah, like most of Miike's movies.
And it's funny because I felt like after watching it that I was going to die in 7 days. So that's very
that makes sense. That makes sense. I thought this was interesting. I knew that the Japanese word for family is kazoku, but I didn't realize that Visitor Q is a play on kazoku, or it's sort of like supposed to be a combination of visitor and kazoku. So if you say them quickly enough and maybe with a Japanese accent, maybe when you say them closer together, like Visitor Q, kazoku, like
Visitor Q, kazoku, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And this was Miike's 50th film.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What an anniversary.
That was like his third year of fucking filmmaking in general.
That's his wedding cake.
I don't know when he started.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, we've already talked about that. He's had this is one of the most prolific directors of all time, probably.
I'm wondering what his first.
You're gonna have to go.
19
He's got over 200 movies.
He's the only director.
1991 I Catch Junction.
Wow.
He's the only director that can have the word prolific in the title describing him, but then when I think of him, I think of the guy from the SpongeBob movie saying "my eyes" as they're burning from his skull.
Yeah. Damn.
The dichotomy with this man is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So between 91 and 99, he made 50 films.
Wow.
He's crazy. He like can't be stopped, can't be topped.
Fucking insane. Can't stop, won't stop.
Rockefeller record, come on.
God damn. All right. Well, should we get into the rating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's rate it up. Austin, you go first.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Okay. I gotta get back into character, you know? Oh, God. Okay. So ratings. Okay. First time watching it, seen it twice now. Saw all the bullshit, you know. I wrote this down earlier while I was watching Teo Rema. I said, where to go? This is a good way to describe my feelings during Teo Rema. The thread of inspiration, the ancestral tree of Visitor Q is just as inbred and bloated as our family of ingrates.
Damn.
Like I love
the thread of inspiration.
I was so angry, but at the same time, after finishing Teo Rema and you know not being able to see Soft Skin, but reading a lot about it and getting a lot of the behind the scenes and you know like just thoughts on it. I pieced together a somewhat semblance of a theme through this, and I somehow found out that it's a wholesome story about the power of family and friendship. You know, this is a story about love.
Friendship.
This is like this is like Hallmark, but like if a Hallmark movie was made on like Spike TV,
God,
you know. And with that, I have to say it was miserable. I cried more than I laughed, and I only laughed when I needed to cry. So I was gonna give it a 0.5. Last week when I watched it, I gave it, you know, like I gave it a 1.5 written down, but I was just gonna give it a half a point. I was gonna give it nothing, but I felt like that wasn't fair. Necromantic didn't get nothing, by the way. That's, and I quote, "This is a movie out of 6." That's a rating.
Yeah.
This isn't a movie. This is just, I don't know what this is. So I would have to give it, like, I'll give it a 1.5. And I have a reason. One, like half the point comes from the fact that the second time watching it, it's weirdly funny, and I wasn't upset at all. Like I hate the fact that like I laugh at this movie.
It's a black comedy. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, I laugh at this movie, and it and the fact that this movie makes me question my morality when I have a good chuckle. You know, I give it a half a point. And then the other point, just for, you know, somehow having an underlying theme of it's like somehow being wholesome, but feeling like Nick Fuentes directed it. If you know, you know. But like, I wrote down like Teo Rema, like this Visitor Q feels like a 2008 YouTube poop of Teo Rema. Like if Mama Luigi was like, you know, like Visitor Q is Mama Luigi, you know, who wants spaghetti? Like that's Visitor Q. And with that, like I have a nostalgic quality for this just mess of just like being offended growing up on the unfortunate side of 4chan as a teenager. So I'll give it a 1.5. I don't even want to give it that. But I'll give it that. Like I struggle to rate this.
That might be the lowest rating we've ever done on this show from anybody.
You know,
really
I do appreciate. We were going to be coming to blows if you gave this a lower rating than Necromantic.
No. I love Necromantic. I justified
Yeah,
my
I was gonna
rating on
say,
there.
I didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't
That
you rate that one
movie-
higher?
Yeah, no, I
that
said
one was rated higher.
Yeah. This is a movie out of 6. Like that is the ultimate compliment. Like it transcends rating. Like it's terrible, but it's amazing, and I felt so many things I couldn't rate it.
That's so funny. Well,
Yep.
I'm glad to know where I stand. No, I'm just playing. What about you, Sideshow?
I mean, honestly, this is a fucking. This is a fucking wild time. Can't recommend this to like a lot of people. Like I probably know like a select few people that I could be like, yeah, you want to see a dead body?
Yeah, this is one that you don't show. Like, this is not a first date movie. This is a like.
Depends on the day.
This is like the opener on Tinder. You just send the hyperlink to the Internet Archives of this movie, and it's like, hey, yo, you cool or not?
Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, the first time, and I've seen this about like 4 times already. It's a fucking. This is absurd. Yeah,
I like that I've done that
to
to you.
You're like the embodiment of like the black pill Wojak. At this point. Like Jesus Christ, dude.
Like the first time I saw it was off of your recommendation, off of Skeptik's recommendation, and then like after that, I think I showed it to someone or something like that. Again, was for like, I think it was before we watched it again before we recorded the first time we recorded this episode, and then watched it again right here with you, Austin. But then I don't know, it's like the more I've watched it, obviously it's just funny. It's just darkly fucking humorous, like super black comedy. It's like about up there with Man Bites Dog. It's about the blackest comedy that I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And I have a lot of respect for it too, just because like you were saying, well, even as we were having the conversation throughout the whole thing, I was just like, wow, I'm liking this the more I think about it. It's so depraved and it's so fucked up and shocking, and it's like vile and, you know, just not at all chill. It's not a chill time. But god damn it, is it like interesting to think about. And like I said, it was like a practice in like, what was it? Like we were saying, it was his like addition to a compilation of films that were going on around the same time that were like all pushing the boundaries of what we could do, or what they could do with filmmaking with just the camcorder.
Yeah, camcorders had just
technology. Yeah, so it was such a new technology. So they were just trying to see like, all right, well, let's make entire movies on it.
We
And
got the
like,
Japanese.
I think that's fascinating.
He's the Japanese Sean Baker. You know, he's shooting movies on iPhones. This guy's shooting videos on shitty camcorders.
Yeah, dude, and it's really cool too. I think there's something really like punk rock about that too. It's just like the idea that you don't need a whole lot of production and shit. You just need a really good fucked up idea and people willing to execute that fucked up idea. And you can do a whole lot with like very little. And I think this movie does that with that. So that all said and done, I want to give this. It may not be we talked about this, I think, on Imprint too. It's not my favorite Miike movie, but goddamn, is it a fucking wild time. And just the amount of respect that I have for it earns it a 4 out of 6 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's respectable. Yeah, I mean, it's like I've said, it's one of those ones that I didn't think there was really like much merit to it. I thought it was just a gross out, a video nasty.
A splatter film.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But it's surprisingly, like meaty, and every time I watch it, I find more in there to enjoy, and especially talking about like, there's something about an artwork that has so much DNA in it, and even to like joke about Dogma 95, to even joke about Dogma 95 and then realize like, oh, it was inspired by Dogma 95. It's not a Dogma film, but it's meant to kind of look like one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. Probably in all good conscience, the best I could give it is like a 4.5, a 4 or 4.5.
Yeah. Like it doesn't have how do like it doesn't have a lot of replay value, but it does when you like showing it to people who haven't seen it for the first time.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant earlier. Like it's like the banana duct tape to a wall. Like it's more what it is doing than what it's showing as a story. And that's what I want out of a movie, is a good story. And like what it is and what it's trying to accomplish is really cool. Like you're duct taping a banana to a wall to blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I can appreciate that. But yeah, it's just a banana duct tape to a wall at the end of the day.
It's like walking up the painting in Mallrats, like, oh, it's a sailboat.
It's a sailboat. Oh, it's a schooner. Actually,
It's a scooter.
cool. Yeah, so that's a really controversial one in the books that we covered 2 years ago the first time.
Yeah.
Like literally, like multiple parts of the recording failed all at once, which is just insane.
Yeah. Even to get through this one was a little bit of a technical chore.
You crashed. I crashed. Joey couldn't get the
We all
files
crashed
ready.
together.
I had to entirely delete and re-download my recording software.
Every pore in my
DAW of
body
choice.
started sweating. I was
This
like
has been some
slamming
shit.
my
So
hand against
everybody,
my router.
double check, save this file in 2 different places. Let's all make sure we don't fuck this up.
Yeah,
Put this Spotify link on the Wayback Machine. Like you gotta, please, for the love of God, please.
I really am curious to see where this is gonna upload. Like when I upload it as 15, I hope it does go to like the end or the middle of the list. But yeah, we have to push the shit out of this episode.
It'll just put it where it is. I've seen people do that before.
Yeah.
Like,
That's funny.
yeah.
That's funny.
All right, Sideshow, take us away. Take us out of here. Let them know where to find us.
All right. Well, I mean, before we let him know, I mean, next week I think we're actually gonna give the boy his first turn at the wheel.
I'm so tired.
He's all grown up.
This was the worst.
We're gonna let Austin. Austin's running his first episode.
This was the worst
and we're
movie to pick before I ran an episode. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
No. You know what? This is one of my things. Is like you. All right. Let's see how you do then. You fucking do it better.
You know what?
Do it better.
No, I'm just saying, like, Visitor Q feels like SpongeBob when he gets anchor arms, and at the end when he's like, ouch, like clicking the remote. Like Visitor Q is the remote, and like a week after that, I have to like do the arm cruncher.
It's eating. This is eating your veggies.
Yeah. This is just fun. It's fun. All of this is fun.
So what are you gonna hit us with?
I'm gonna hit you with Dawn of the Dead from 2004. The Zack Snyder remake, not only because it turns 20.
The Snyder cut.
It turns 20. But I think it'd be a cool anniversary film in that retrospective, but also me recently learning that, like, we got the Zack Snyder heads on DC, and we got the Soy Jacks and the MCU fucking O-facing over James Gunn. And recently I found out, that James Gunn wrote the script and Snyder directed it. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of do a 20th anniversary look at like prior to like the superhero boom, this pivotal like zombie movie from my childhood, as well as a bunch of other people. And there's just a lot going on. Dude. There's a lot going on that I think would be perfect for right now.
This was a huge part of my childhood too, for sure. Like I loved this movie growing up. This is one of my first favorite zombie movies, aside from like.
It's really good.
Days.
It's really good. As much as I hate Zack Snyder and all of his fan base, and
oh no, man, Ving Rhames, man, that movie fucking slaps.
Don't disrespect Rebel
Oeuvre.
But Dawn of the Dead is great. No, I was gonna say a nice thing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect Zack Snyder. You don't understand. I know his movie just came out, but he already promised us, a week after it came out, that he just needs to release his 6.5-hour Snyder cut. Rebel Moon will be fine. He has 800 years of lore already written. It'll be fine.
800 years.
That's right.
All right. Well, if that sounds good to you guys, we'll hope to catch you next time. I'm very excited for that episode. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You guys can find us on Facebook at the Devil's Work Podcast, on Instagram at the Devil's Work Pod. We are on we are on TikTok at the Devil's Work Podcast.
The Devil's Work Podcast, the whole thing.
Podcast, fuck yeah. All right. And then we also have an email set up for you guys to let us know your thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, anything regarding the movies that we covered, anything you want to hear us cover, anything you want to add or, subtract from what we've said on the show. Email us at the Devil's Work Podcast at gmail.com. And yeah, man. What do you got from Skep?
Oh man, I'm
something loaded up. I feel like you had something loaded up.
You know what? I will say, these are my notes from a couple of years ago when we first watched this movie.
Oh shit, you have
or not first, but you know what I mean.
When
we were talking about covering this before, and Austin was talking about like me asking a question, and so my question for this episode.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember it, Sideshow?
Yep. Oh no, not for this one. Not for this one. No, I don't know.
This is my question for this one. So Austin, you're gonna have to come with a question for Dawn of the Dead. Let's make this a thing.
Can I guess your question real quick before you say it?
Yeah, I would be amazed if you got it right.
Okay, what's your? I want everybody to ponder this and DM us on all our platforms. What's your favorite milk alternative?
Yeah, that's something we should do now. Is turn the question loose to the listeners.
What's your favorite
you guys?
milk?
So kind of on the money, Austin. The question was, did you used to believe in chocolate cows?
Do you have righteous mommy milkers?
Nope, not a question I'm going to put out to the public.
Yeah,
I like my head being on my shoulders.
Same.
Oh my god, dude, that's fucking amazing. All right, we'll see you guys.
Reach out and let us know if y'all used to believe in the brown cow theory.
Watch Visitor Q. Watch Visitor Q, and then do yourself a favor and take time to reach out and touch faith because you're gonna need it after this. Yeah.
Take time with a wounded hand. Because if you fuck a necrotic corpse, it's gonna shit on your dick.
What the fuck are we doing?
Milk the breast that feeds.
We will
I don't know. We're done. We're done. We're done.
We're done. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Outro music.
Sorry. I apologize.
Let me clear my throat. Bow, 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 bow. Incest and murder. And mommy milk. So after what, Chad?
God damn it, I'm trying to say it.
I'm sorry.